Well, we got to get to it. Free agency is jumping. The Cleveland Browns just made another move to bolster the offensive line, and it's your boy Teven Jenkins. Teven Jenkins is back into the fold, back into the mix. Cleveland Browns is doing some things. I like the moves. We're going to talk about it. We're going to get to that, some free agent news and chatter, and we will definitely get to what's going on with Brian Thomas Jr. We've been hearing about him and Marvin Harrison. The Cleveland Browns is making moves. Let's talk about it. Let's get to it. Breaking news. We here, right here on, you know what it is. Stop playing with me. It's the Ultimate Browns. Welcome on in. We back to the Ultimate Browns breaking news. Let's get to the free agency chatter. This just broke a couple of seconds ago. Make sure that you're checking out. We got to get to it. Let's go ahead and get right to it. The Cleveland Browns, we talk about it all the time. We needed to bolster up front, and then the Cleveland Browns did what they were supposed to do. Here to stay. Teven Jenkins, offensive guard, signed by the Cleveland Browns, re-signing him. We go into this offseason, and the thing the Cleveland Browns wanted to do is we wanted to come away with getting more bodies, more weapons, more people up front. Teven Jenkins is a guy who they moved Wyatt Teller. Let's be clear about it. Wyatt Teller is no longer part of the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns wanted to get a bigger, longer look at Teven Jenkins. He was a guy that was in there at the end of the football season, and the Cleveland Browns made a decision that he was the best guy available on the market at guard. This does a great job by putting more bodies up front. The one thing that I wanted to see with the Cleveland Browns was I didn't want to go into the situation trying to figure out whether or not we had something at other positions. The best positions on the floor or on the board that you might potentially be able to get is a Maui Noah. You may be able to get the tackle out of Georgia, who Monroe Freeling may not even be there. He's available up there. When you talk about it, you now have the pick of the litter at the board, and the Browns have done exactly what Andrew Berry said they was going to do. They told you they were going to bolster up front. They was going to get some guys up front. Now you take a look at what they've been able to do. You look at Titus Howard on the right-hand side, who could be your right tackle. You bring back Teven Jenkins. You still have a guy like Luke Whippler, who's still in your mix. Zach Zenner, I ain't counting on. DeJuan Jones, I ain't counting on. But guess what? You still got guys, and if they come back to give you something, okay. But if they don't come back and give you anything, we can deal with that. We could deal with that because we have bodies and guys that you can do something with. And now you got the best available on the board. When you go look at the offensive line and you take a look at what they can do possibly in free agency at tackle, you still got some guys on the top of your board that you can either take at Maui Noah at 6. You can take Freeling if you want to get to that. There's other guys that's available, or you can sit there and possibly take Cardinal, take the best receiver on the board. This is what I'm talking about. So if you have not come on in and get ready to it. The Cleveland Browns have made a move. Teven Jenkins is re-signed at guard. Let's go ahead and couple that with this. Browns have signed Zion Johnson to a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. You got 2 guards now. This is Project Stockpile at its finest. Now, let me get this right. Former first-round pick, we talked about it on UCSS today. This is a guy who you're going to be getting younger. He does not have the greatest PFF grades. However, when you watch him on film, when you watch him, he has the raw skills and the raw tools to be able to be a very good run-blocking guard. He has a guy that you got younger there. By all intents and purposes, it looked like Joe Bitonio was going to move on. So you got 2 guards in Teven Jenkins and Zion Johnson, who are going to be your anchors up front that you have at guard. You already got Titus Howard, who's going to play right tackle for you. And now you can slide Luke Whippler in there He's coming off injury, but it looks like you're going to be able to slide Luke Whippler in and give him an opportunity. Zach Zenner also worked at center a little bit during the year. He's going to be in the mix. DeJuan Jones, he can possibly be a guy that could play on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. He's a depth piece. You don't even got to look forward to talking about DeJuan Jones if he's not going to be ready to go. So we adding bodies to the mix. We adding bodies to the mix. Let me show you this as well. I'm going to show you a mock draft that we talked about, and I did this on the barbershop. And I want to give y'all the opportunity to see this. If you looking at just trade scenarios, and you look at what the Browns have the ability to do, this is a mock draft that I did on the barbershop. This is just getting creative, right? I just did a mock draft to say, let me show you what I can do if we get the best available. If Jeremiah Love falls to you at 6 and they just get crazy, you be able to get a guy like Jeremiah Love. You may be able to get a Caleb Lamu pick at the first round with the 24 pick. Casey Concepcion is available. Zachariah Branch is available. Markel Bell that you can get in the 4th round who gives you an A grade. You could go back into the draft at round 5 and get a center in Logan Jones. So this is just a couple of the names that could be a possibility for you there, that if you want to go get Lamu, you're there. You can still go get best available. Let's take a look at another trade scenario, a scenario in the draft. Let's get to this. Now you're starting to see how this looks, right? Let's talk about a trade back scenario. Y'all want to talk about a trade back that you got? Say, for instance, in this trade scenario, and there's a lot of trade scenarios that can go around, right? In this trade scenario that we talked about, say, for instance, that somebody is wanting to get up to go get Caleb Downs. Somebody wants to go up and get a Sonny Styles. Well, in this case, we were able to trade the 6th overall pick to the 15th overall pick with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You still got another guard piece. Loani, the guard out of Penn State. You still got Casey Concepcion. Round 2, you got Caleb Lamu. You still were able to get a guy and runs a 4.3 something, and Deion Burks, who's a guy. Bailey Schrouth. We was at Mark Slayer. We was like, listen, we was joking. We was like, yeah, that's his cousin. You get him in the guard. Nick Singleton is there. Aiden Fisher's there. Oscar Delp. This is just some of the names that's available to you. And these are trade backs. This ain't even really, say, for instance, I just want to get creative. And I just want to just jump around. Let's talk about G. Bush. Let's go heavy on a receiver. In this scenario, Carnell Tate was available at 6. Makai Lemon, due to draft situations, fell to pick number 24. I got greedy and went up and got 2 of them. And still was able to get Blake Miller around in the 2nd round at pick number 39. Jake Slaughter, round 3. Take a look at what you could get a Billy Schroth. You got a Jacoby Lane in there. A Riley Nowakowski and tight end. It's a 7th pick. You could play around with a lot of this when it comes to the situation with the draft. But as you can see, the more you slot and you get people together, the more you knock out some people and bodies that you can have in terms of what you have up front. Titus Howard, starter. Teven Jenkins, starter. Huh? You come back. Zion Johnson, starter. You've knocked out 3 potential starters on your offensive line, thus giving you the flexibility to say, we can go best available tackle if we want to. If it's on your board and he's up there, go ahead and take him out. Noah. Take him. You still can take Carnell Tate, right? There's a ability to trade down if you want to. And free agency is not yet done. I like it. It's understated. I would have liked to get Linderbaum. I would have liked to get him. But at the end of the day, the Raiders overpaid for him. But I think he's worth it. I think they just outbid the Browns. He's worth it in my opinion, though. Linderbaum, I would have took. But the Browns have not done what a lot of people thought that they would do. The Browns haven't come in here and broke the piggy bank. The Browns, you may look at Titus Howard, you say, well, they gave him a new deal, but the Browns have not come in here and done a irresponsible thing and running around, messing around, drafting or going to get guys like Alex Pierce. Alex Pierce is getting 100. I mean, these is 100 plus. And Charles Davis came on today and he said, besides Alex Pierce, besides the pass rusher that left Miami for the Dolphins and got a big payday, there's nobody else that's been on the board that we looking around and saying, oh my gosh, we need to go get this dude. No, they've done exactly what they were supposed to do. Mess around and get some guys that can fill positions, and now you don't have to be. The thing with offensive line play is you got to understand, you can't go into off season and you can't be going into these off seasons looking around telling yourself that you're going to have 4, 5, 6 rookie guards and tackles playing. Andrew Berry is smarter than that. He's like, look, I know that there's going to be injuries up front. I understand DeJuan Jones and Luke Whipper is coming off a surgery. If you want a rookie to compete with those guys, awesome. I like to pair a rookie with a veteran. Rookie with a veteran. So if the veteran don't plan out, I still got the rookie that I could put in, that I got some faith in because I drafted him and I like what his ability is. If the rookie ain't ready to go, you still got the veteran you can go out and play out. And my thing is this. Let's talk about it. The elephant in the room is the simple fact that the Cleveland Browns is telling you what they was talking about. Forget all the sensationalism, bro. I showed you on this episode. I showed you on all social other episodes what the Cleveland Browns said they was going to do. They're going to make sure they get it done up front. They're going to make sure they invest in the offensive line and receivers. And the Cleveland Browns so far have done what exactly we told you this was going to be about. Get me some linemen, get me some folks up front, and then we can worry about seeing what we talking about with quarterback. See, what we did is all off season, we wasted all our time spinning our wheels talking about the Malik Willises of the world. We told you, but I ain't going to say we told you, I told you. You ain't going to get no Malik Willis. I told you ain't going to get no Anthony Richardson. I told you not in no market for no Kyler Murray or no Tua. We told you what it was. We've been consistent. We told you what type of time we on. And I think it's time that we can look at what the tea leaves is. And fellas, it's time to turn the page. Turn the page, bro. Andrew Berry, he told you when Todd Monken came into the program, he told you what was going to happen. He said verbatim, when we got here, when Baker Mayfield was here, when we was here, what did we do? We had a defense. We invested in a defense. And excuse me, when Baker was here, we had a young quarterback. We invested in the tools and the pieces around, and we was top heavy on offense, not so much on defense. We knew we was lacking on defense. So when we came in, we had to prioritize the defense to get that back up and moving. Now, I think it's a bit of the opposite. We want to see what we can do. We know we got a dominant defense. We know we got Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. We hit on Carson Schlesinger. But guess what? We don't got the offense. The Cleveland Browns have come and done exactly what he said he was going to do. Now, listen. Hey, can he go outside and make a swing at some other places? Can he go outside and do some things? Does that mean he's not going to go? He can't go out and find another quarterback or find somebody that you can put in play and try to, see what you got down the line. If you say, I don't like Dylan Gabriel all that much. Hey, what about the quarterback out of Arkansas who runs a 4.3? What about a day 2 or day 3 guy that could be a project that you think has long-term upside, more upside than Dylan Gabriel? Those are the type of moves we should be looking at. But these moves, as we talk about these moves, these are the moves that were predicted These were the moves that were talked about that should have been done, and these are the moves blatantly, boys and girls. If you were watching the games this year, it would have told you exactly where the Cleveland Browns should have been putting their time, energy, and effort into up front. And I'm not just done right here. I'm still available, open for best available tackles. I'm still open and available. Give me 3 more guards. Give me another center. Give me another young tackle I could do something with. And anybody that wants to figure out and to give any quarterback they got, take Shedeur Sanders out the equation for a little bit. Take him out the equation. I get it. We're going to talk about him a lot. But if you're an honest football fan, any honest football fan, if you want an accurate evaluation on not only him or anybody else that you plan on going to get outside of this year in 2027, the better you are up front, the better you are on the outside, gives the next person who you might think you want a better opportunity to succeed in year 1 or year 2. It's simple. When we talked about this game, when we talked about free agency, the Cleveland Browns, when you watch the games, we saw what it was. We saw what it was. We've spent so much time and energy talking about how it is that the quarterback needs to do X, Y, and Z, but we did not see or acknowledge that up front is where it matters. They moved on from Wyatt Teller. Joe Bitonio retired. Ethan Poaches, they didn't re-sign. DeJuan Jones is injured. Jack Conklin was injured. How is it that we spent this much time talking about the quarterback situation and did not pinpoint, drill down, and identify that the Cleveland Browns offensive front goes a lot into what you see on the football field? And like a lot of other people, I get it. I've spent my whole life only watching offensive linemen or defensive linemen. My whole life. My hand has been in the dirt. Hand-to-hand combat. I played on offense. I played on defense. My brother was a Division I offensive lineman. I understand intimately how much success is owed to the individuals up front. We don't see nothing. An offensive lineman is like a roof or a dry basement. You don't know it's a problem till a leak hit. You don't know it's a problem with your roof until that water is dropping on your face in the middle of the night. Or you hear that dripping water somewhere. And you say, where the heck is that? That is what we're talking about with the offensive line. And so I'm all for it. But if you was listening to G. Bush, I've been telling you what you should be looking at from day one, didn't I? Have I, this is why, people we talk about, we get in the point where we think everything's controversial. It's not. If you get over the initial extra, we've been telling you about what they should be doing and how they should be addressing from week 1. And if there's any criticism of Andrew Berry, I've been critical of him since the inception of what he's done at 2 positions, offensive line and wide receiver. And in this case, I am excited about the fact that, yes, we got these guys. They're at a price. You ain't got no Chris Paul. You didn't go reach for a lot of other guys. And guess what? Let's take a look at this before we get to our first break. This talks about on Yahoo, day 1 and day 2 winners. Now, by the way, they got the Cleveland Browns as a day 2 loser. Well, listen, if you didn't, hey, listen, I know we didn't get Kyler Murray. Maybe you was looking for the quarterback. I understand why it's going to be a day 2 loser. Maybe I'm looking for a splash. We knew that. The ebbs and flows of the NFL are always interesting. The reserve day 1 following free agency saw a flurry of free agents coming together in the afternoon, only to slow down in the evening. Day two has started off much slower down to a trickle very quickly, with the possibility that the Cleveland Browns are already know that Joe Bitonio is moving on among the biggest news rumors of the day so far. For the Browns, 3 reported additions are helpful, with the loss of linebacker Devin Bush mitigated by the arrival of Quincy Williams. We'll get to that after the break. Learning more about the offensive line, Zion Johnson's history provides a deeper look at the player who may be in a position to replace Joe Bitonio in 2026. That doesn't mean the Browns shouldn't or will be done in free agency. Here are the 4 best available players to help out in the needs with the Cleveland Browns. Rasheed Walker is a guy, they asked me about that on UCSS the other day. I'm mixed on him. The fact that they're going to give him top 5 tackle money, and he's not a guy who projects that on the field. When you watch him on the field, he don't play that way. He is I would say above average to below average in certain areas, or average to above average in certain areas, but it's nothing special. Walker's solid starting left tackle, something that's very valuable in the NFL. There are rumblings that Walker's contract might be far less expected at this point. It could create even more interest of the Browns unless they are locked in an offensive tackle in the draft. So that's another thing we got to watch for. If the Browns feel like they got a tackle that they in love with, that it may tell you based on how they go about signing a left tackle. Because guess what? They already got a right. They got 2 guards that are planning on being starters, and they didn't get Linderbaum. So this means that maybe they like Luke Whippler, and they might want to go on their left tackle in the draft. We'll see. Another guy, when it comes to receivers, Romeo Doubs might be a guy that's on the board. The 26-year-old had his best years in 2025 in the crowded receiver rooms. He had 55 receptions for 724 yards and 6 touchdowns. An explosive receiver with a good size, speed combination. Doubs can thrive moving up a spot to target share. And then as of today, Doubs signed with the Patriots. So he's off the board. Teven Jenkins, he signed with the Browns, so they got him off the board. And punter Tommy Townsend. Browns need a punter. So those are the 2 guys that may be available. So again, they got some of their needs addressed at guard. They let, as this article talked about, and we'll talk about the last signing that we have right here, is the Browns signing Quincy Williams to a 2-year, $13 million deal with $9 million guarantee. Now, Quincy Williams is a guy who was a first-team All-Pro in 2022, I do believe. 2022, 2023. He was demoted last year. He had an injury with his shoulder, but didn't play the right scheme for him, didn't really fit the scheme. Rudy was his linebackers coach, who is now the defensive coordinator. And I talked about this also on UCSS, the fact that I like the fact, and I'm not going to demote and poo-poo what Devin Bush did. Devin Bush's time last year in terms of his film and what he did, he was a career year. Two pick sixes, 3 interceptions, over 120 tackles. I mean, Devin Bush was sideline to sideline, and he had a career year. He saved his career. And I'll give Andrew Berry a credit for finding him. He was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, former first-round pick. He ended up flaming out there, went to Seattle, and he was a couple steps out of this league. Comes back with the Browns, revitalizes his career, had a career year, ends up signing and going to get a payday. Salute to him. But I think this was a good rebuttal for that. I think this was a good reaction to the signing, because when you look at Quincy Williams, this guy is all over the field. When you watch his best, Charles Davis said it, his best is better than what Devin Bush's best is. It's not close. And you take a look at what Quincy Williams is able to do. So look, what you hope is that he comes back playing by Carson Schlesinger, playing in the defense with Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and Delpit and some of these good players, that you still get some of his best years out of him. I believe he's only still 27 years old, and he's a guy that can run. He's athletic, and you get him for only $9 million guarantee deal with a 2-year deal. We'll take that. we shall take that. So I like the move. Sad to see Devin Bush go. I like what he did, but, I think this is a really good move in response to that move. If you're looking at linebacker, I like this. Coming back up, when we get back, I'm going to get to Brian Thomas Jr. There's some rumblings here. We'll talk about whether that's viable. We'll get to your super chats. We'll get to your questions as we talk about Browns free agency updates right here on The Ultimate Browns. Coming up later on, within the next day or so, you got my man Mikey McNuggets, Jason Lloyd, Ultimate Cavaliers. Make sure you check that out. Cavs got a nice win the other night against the who did they play last night? Oh, yeah, they played Philadelphia 76ers. So got a nice little bounce back win, shot the ball better. Can they get it together? Got embarrassed by the Celtics. Got to beat the big boys. Guess what? Playoff time is coming around. You want to make sure you catch Ultimate Cavaliers as well. Make sure you also checking out Ultimate 216, my man Earl Pearl. He is already cooking, him and Cecil over there. Make sure you keep it locked to Ultimate 216 and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our other content. Welcome back to the Ultimate Browns. G. Bush in the building. We breaking down the latest news and notes from the Cleveland Browns free agency. They've done some things. If you just have not checked up with us, if you're just pulling up right now today, let's go ahead and show you what moves they have made. The Browns have went and re-signed guard Teven Jenkins. They re-signed him to preferably be the starting guard next year. They also have made a move to sign linebacker Quincy Williams as they lose Devin Bush in free agency. Quincy Williams will probably be the starting linebacker next to Carson Schlesinger, former All-Pro, good ball player, nice linebacker from the Jets. And then you take a look at the move they made the other day, signing guard Zion Johnson to a 3-year, $49.5 million deal. He looks to be the other guard for the Cleveland Browns. Also a younger guy, still under the age of 30, still has some good years left into him and can grow into what they think that he can be molded as a player. And then we got to don't forget Titus Howard. They made the trade for him. The right tackle from the Houston Texans. Titus Howard is going to be your right tackle. So right now, 3 offensive linemen, 1 linebacker, no receivers, but still they might have an opportunity to kind of see that coming to fruition. There's some guys still left on the board, but the guy that we want to talk about right now is a guy we've been Adam the Bulls guy. Adam Schefter, we've been speculating back and forth about what's going on with. We've heard Marvin Harrison. There's a guy that we've talked about a lot on UCSS is Brian Thomas Jr. And this tweet was for per the Pat McAfee show, and this was Adam Schefter says, "I've been told that the Jaguars aren't, I repeat, are not interested in trading Brian Thomas. His name continues to be floated out, but the Jaguars have no interest in moving on from him." Now, this is a very strange scenario for me. When you talk about the very strange nature of what's going on with Brian Thomas Jr., on the outside, I don't understand why his name is being mentioned. But I continue to hear his name mentioned on every single platform. Guys are moving around doing a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I can't figure out why Brian Thomas Jr. is a dude that's names keep getting mentioned. Last year, he had a down year. I get it. But the year before, he was spectacular. Long speed, big receiver, was their number 1 guy. Trevor Lawrence is a guy who is now ascending. You've paid Trevor Lawrence. You're waiting to see him get into that upper echelon of top 10 quarterbacks. Why would you not want a Brian Thomas Jr.? I know he had a down year last year, but come on, bro. You've also got Travis Hunter. You've already come out of his organization and said you're going to primarily play Travis Hunter as a cornerback on defense. So you're taking another weapon away, coming off the ACL injury. So my thing is, why would you take a guy that you've invested this money in, a first-round pick, to trade him for what? I know they trade him from a position of strength, but to me, it still I don't know. His name is being mentioned a lot, but I will say this. If the Cleveland Browns want to go ahead and get him, let's keep it cooking. if the Cleveland Browns want to cook, and let's get to it. Let's get to it. Because I would take him in a heartbeat. If they want that 24th pick, bye-bye. Bring me Brian Thomas Jr. I'll take Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, let's go with Jerry Jeudy, Brian Thomas Jr., and then you can still wheel and deal and get in the draft, and I still might take Carnell Tate. Now you got a move where you got Carnell Tate, Brian Thomas Jr., Jerry Jeudy. You got a guy like Harold Fanning Jr. who's going to be a monster. Isaiah Bond has shown he can get, deep and be a deep threat. Come on now. But I just don't know if there's any validity to it because I still scratch my head. You let me know if I'm tripping. But I'm not seeing why you would just get rid of Brian Thomas Jr. Because he had a down year. It ain't making the math ain't mathing to me. The math is not mathing to me. And we got to figure something out here. We got to talk about it. But his name continues to be mentioned. Another name that I keep hearing behind the scenes is Marvin Harrison Jr. I got some intel that they've been talking for a long time, a while. They just ain't figured out the right move yet with the compensation. I mean, Arizona, you done already moved on. You already moved on from Kyler Murray. What are we doing here? That's another name I'm willing to get. 24 pick, let's go. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, still got a lot left in the tank. And I think his best years is ahead of him. Let's get to some of your comments and let's get to some of your chats, man. Let's get to it. Bush, your first four is what I said weeks ago. Don't agree with trading back. Love is a playmaker. I'm big on KC Concepcion. And you know what? Listen. The more I look at it, I've been telling people, guys, I've said, I don't know what the Browns going to do. Especially when it comes to the draft. There's so many different ways they can go about it. But the best way available, you want Sonny Johnson and Caleb Downs on the board at 6. If Sonny Johnson or Caleb Downs is on that board at 6, the Cleveland Browns got a way. Listen, they got some people that's willing to jump up and get them. And if you're there, the Cleveland Browns can go a number of different ways. They got a lot of options. Matter of fact, I've been doing these mock drafts all the time. Monroe Freeling. Listen, these two, I can't pronounce the dude. Loane? Like this guy, the Penn State guard, listen, we don't have to figure out the pronunciation. I wouldn't be mad at either one of these. Wouldn't be mad at all. Big Evil 870. So Shador starting. Hey, bro. I keep trying to tell people. Hey, listen, don't take my little old word for it. Hey, man, I'm just a little G. Bush. But everything, like I said today, from the looks of it, and I'm waiting for a good argument against this, because we've been talking about this for a very long time. Every time we keep saying, if the Browns do this, then that means the Browns is that. Well, the Browns have made a decision that they're not going to go after no quarterbacks, and I'm just waiting to see just like y'all, and they ain't made no decision, then that means that they are telling you that, hey, we're going to give him an opportunity to compete for that job. Are we not? We will know for certain that Sanders is starting until Monken announces it. Until then, know that everyone is speculating. There it is. Speculation. And the cool thing about it is, and we look at it, I think it's kind of crazy to even speculate on it, because Todd Monken then even came out and said, how is it that I can tell you what this man is or not, or who's going to play and who won't, if I ain't even got him on the grass football field? They ain't even been in the classroom to learn the playbook. I don't even know what Deshaun Watson thought of ball like. Who knows what Dylan Gabriel looked like? I don't see. You see what I'm saying? That's the great thing about the great game of football. It's a new coach. It's a new system. And we're going to get you a chance to find out just like everybody else will. in due time. In due time. The Browns should pair Trey Hendrickson with Myles Garrett and destroy the league. Make it happen, AB. King's ransom. Boy, that's great. Listen, Trey Hendrickson is still out there. By the way, you know, I asked Charles Davis. I said, man, it'd be lovely. It would be lovely to mess around and get, you know, Bailey. And I just still love, I love Mr. Bain. But I love Ruben Bain, the way he play. I just keep trying to, you know, because Myles Garrett is a cheat code. Anybody you put with Myles Garrett, they'd be nice. It's just like anybody that you put them on the opposite, it's just like, you like, dang, bro, that's going to be crazy. R. Will 192. If we lay number one receiver like Marvin Harrison Jr. or Chris Olave, would you go for a Jeremiah? Yep, absolutely, I would. You see, R. Will, the intoxication is when you start filling these holes in trades and free agency. Look how the board opened up. The chess pieces, the board just open. Like it'd be like Aladdin, a whole new world. It's a whole new world. I'm like, I never knew Jeremiah Love was gonna be so good. But you get you a receiver that you didn't trade it for. I'm just a little old football dude. I just get kind of excited. I just keep getting excited about seeing these pieces and parts coming to fruition, because at the end of the day, I just want to see. Listen, these dubs listen. They keep filling these holes. Keep filling them. Keep messing around. This draft gonna get interesting. I don't know. I keep walking around asking myself to these folks, right? Ask yourself, how is it that we sitting here in March and people around here, when we talking about the Browns, we acting like somebody that died and went to a funeral? What kind of funeral? I've never seen a team that have an all-pro corner, the defensive rookie of the year. Myles Garrett breaks the sack record. Quincy Williams should have had over 1,000 if he would have never got hurt. And your team just filled 3 starters up front in a position that they needed to get better at. And now you open it up when you got picks. You got 2 first-round picks. I got a quarterback that I done seen throw for 300. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Let's get to our super chats. I got 2 of them. Look at that. G. Bush, my sources told me this writer named Jason uses AI to write his articles. I'm not the one to say it. My sources told me this. Now, original videos, I know this is tongue-in-cheek. You are not insinuating that. This was just a joke, right? It was a funny joke. Don't take it lighthearted. It's be just lighthearted, man. You know. Shout out to Jason, and the internet is on fire today. Yoshi Doshi says, sneaky good move. The offensive line almost set Shedeur Sanders clean, my boy. Hey, we out here cooking. Speaking of cooking, make sure you continue. When they bring somebody up, we gonna talk that football. Don't get it twisted. We talk football over here on Ultimate Browns. Cleveland Browns just signed Tevin Jenkins. We'll be back if they bring us something new. With that being said, you never know when G. Bush might show up radio, television, and internet. But if you want the fresh cut on sports, I keep the Clippers with me. Have a good rest of your evening. And as always, like I said, go Browns.